So, I was hoping to get this done before Thor: The Dark World came out, but what can you do? You might be wondering, who the hell is this? Or if you're watching this on his channel, who the hell am I? Well, this is Esquog. You may know him as from the credits of Disney's sequel month. He basically helped me write all of that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Awful, but fun.
Boxing How to...
Oh, you need to stop right now.
Oh, and the stuff we watched besides that. We watched other ones.
And if you're watching this on my channel, this is Nordy. You can look him up on YouTube, and also you got a Blip TV.
Actually, no, that got taken down.
Ah!
I don't know why, but Blip just doesn't like not people who aren't doing it for money anymore.
Ah.
I don't know why. So, all my videos will be on YouTube, and if they can't fit on YouTube, I put them on Vimeo.
Boom.
So, yeah. Want a link to his description? I'll put it down. Want a link to his channel? I'll put it down in the description.
Words, Marty, what words?
Yeah, I know. This is why I edit. So, with Thor: The Dark World released right now, it was a couple of days ago. When you see this, it could have been 3 weeks. I don't know. Depends on how well my computer works. We decided to do our top 10 favorite comic book movies because there are a lot of them.
My number 10 is the 1979 Captain America with Red Brown. This one is, it's the only one on my list that's it's so bad it's good kind of movie. It's Red Brown in the 70s was notorious for acting just as the guy who screams like that's like who Red Brown is. So they put him in as Captain America, and it's so bad. He doesn't embody anything Captain America stands for. Like
justice in the American way.
At 2 separate occasions, he fools his companion he's with because he's driving in a car with them. Number one, he's driving in a car with somebody else, and he goes, "Hey, pull over! I'm feeling sick" or something. The best part about this is his Captain America. You know his vibranium shield, that the thing that nothing can go through. In this, it's a piece of plastic, and when he throws it, it's hilarious because they show him throwing it, and number one, it looks like a frisbee. Number two, when it hits the bad guy, they don't even put a sound effect in to make it sound like metal or anything. All you just hear is like a plastic thump, and I'm like, oh my god, why would you do that?
All right, my number 10. It's the 1989 Batman, directed by Tim Burton. The reason I just like this is it doesn't even try to be, realistic like the more recent Batman movies. It is a comic book movie. It's dark, it's gritty. I love Michael Keaton as both Batman and Bruce Wayne, and Jack Nicholson as the Joker is hilarious. That scene where he's, interrogating those, what is it, I believe it's the mobsters, and he just takes a shock thing, and he literally electrocutes a guy and then starts talking to him. It's like, I don't know why, I just find that unbelievably creepy, but also hilarious. What they did is they told it, the origin, throughout the movie. About 20 minutes in, we start to figure out what happened to his parents, then we find out how he became, we found out why he had a fear of bats, or why he became the Batman. So it's like, we get the origin, we just aren't watching the first half of the movie about it.
Alright, my number 9 is, again, another movie that people don't really like, per se, but I love. It's the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's based off a comic that I haven't had a chance to read myself, but I've always been really interested in it. I like the concept of, historical figures from history being these type of superheroes that can, save the world if needed, that call upon the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. They're not superheroes per se, but they are.
Who are some of the main characters?
There's I can't remember if it's Huckleberry Finn or Tom. It's Tom Sawyer. Tom Sawyer is one of them. It's a wonderful movie. It could have been executed a lot better, but
as far as fun goes?
As far as fun and cinematic execution goes, it could have been a lot better, but as far as, you introducing us to the characters, telling us who they are, what they do, they did a pretty decent job.
Didn't that kill Sean Connery's career?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god, what about... my number 9 is X2, X-Men United. I did like the first, but I did think it was dated. I thought the villain's plan was weird. It's like... But X2 I just really liked. I loved the social allegory, all about the homosexuals, I guess. That's what it's supposed to be about. Mutants are supposed to be an allegory for homosexuals. I love that kind of stuff.
If you want to read into it.
Yeah, like in the early, it was like the comics were made in the early '60s, so it was based on, I don't know, African Americans.
Yeah, something like that. Something about extreme segregation.
Yeah, I love the action. I love pretty much every character. It was especially Magneto. I was blown away by his plan to escape from prison. Like that was actually kind of genius.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was kind of weird at first because I didn't know what was going on. All of a sudden, like Mystique's just injecting stuff into this guy, and I'm like, whoa there, whoa. But then I saw what happened. I'm like, you had too much iron in your diet, and I had a good time. This one's actually on my list because it's one of the darkest movies I've seen, and it's fantastic. It's The Watchmen. If you read the comics are dark. If you watch the movie, the movie's really dark. It's just
I heard it's like really faithful, except for like the ending.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. It's pulled off really well. The characters are portrayed in a fantastic manner. My favorite being the comedian. If you could look to your left there, I have a poster of him. The comedian's the hero. He knows the whole world's a joke and laughs and shrugs it off just like the Joker does, but he does it on the other side of justice.
So he makes a ban on the Joker?
Yeah, except he kind of rapes a girl technically, but it's fine. The heroes of the Watchmen are anti-heroes at best. Like Rorschach is definitely the brooding anti-hero. The comedian is definitely wishy-washy as a hero at best. Mr. Manhattan is certainly a wishy-washy hero at best.
That's the blue guy with the big dick.
No, he doesn't have a big dick. He has a big bulge, and there's a difference.
Like I said, I haven't seen the movie.
It was an amazing movie. It was dark. It captured the essence of the comics almost perfectly.
Captain America: The First Avenger. I just loved the main character.
Yeah.
Like, unlike Iron Man and Hulk, Thor, he wasn't a dick. He was just a really nice guy who loved his country.
That's the thing. That's the thing about Iron Man. Not Iron Man. Captain America. I'm sorry. I was caught up on Iron Man. But the thing about Captain America and the thing with the First Avenger is the person who played Steve Rogers, I can't remember his name right now.
Chris Pine?
Yeah, something like that. The guy who played him was really good at capturing his wholesome, 1920s America,
It's just nice that in 2011 we got a movie about loving America for once.
I know, right?
It's
Instead of blowing it up or, destroying Manhattan, which... I'm sorry, freaking Metropolis, whatever.
I actually liked the love interest. The Colonel was hilarious. Oh, hell, I ain't kissing you. Get up there on that plane.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I loved about this movie is just like you're going through and it's so beautiful. You're sitting there and it's like, oh, there's this that happening, there's this. The series of events are logical, and then at the end, the ending is like people are just like, well, why can't you fly a plane? Like that doesn't even matter to me. The ending was so tragic to me. It just resonated with me in a really big way.
That plane, wasn't it damaged?
It was damaged,
I'm pretty sure no one could fly
it. He couldn't have flown it, but he was able to take it down for some reason.
And not land it in a major city.
Yeah, I mean,
so he landed it in ice where he was frozen.
Yeah, I don't know. He could have targeted at the sea and then jumped out. I don't know. But the whole thing is, the ending to me was just so tragic. Just when she's on that call box saying Steve, that's like. It resonated with me in a really big way, and I don't know why. My number 7 is actually The Wolverine. It's a really good movie. It actually reminds me of a comic book, as far as the movie is, planned out and played out. It's Wolverine goes to Japan. Something happens to Wolverine. Wolverine has to fight to undo that.
No,
Yeah,
overarching story arc. No.
No overarching story arc. There could be hints or shadows of something to come in the next X-Men movie. It's pretty much what happens when Wolverine goes to Japan, and that would be an issue of X-Men. They would take 2 or 3 issues, and it'd just be like, hey, Wolverine goes to Japan. See what happens, and it's really faithful to what I feel a comic would be like if it were a movie.
Number 7, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this. The Amazing Spider-Man. I just watched it because I thought, what the hell, maybe it'll be good. And I really, really, really like that one. And I think the reason is the main character, Peter Parker, is kind of like me. Emma Stone is Gwen Stacy. She also better go places in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually not bummed. Some people were bummed that they decided to hold off on introducing Mary Jane in the second one, just to further Gwen and Peter's. I'm cool with that because I liked them. I thought they were honestly had good chemistry.
I mean, in the first one, in the first series of Spider-Man movies, Peter was going out with Mary Jane, and that's the typical Spider-Man relationship for him to go out with Mary Jane. But I don't like the dynamic of the relationship at all. They're a jerk to each other. They're nice to each other. Mary Jane goes off with Harry for a while. I hate the dynamic. But him and Gwen have a pretty decent dynamic, and I like it. I like it better. So
yeah, I really like the villain. He was actually sympathetic, and the fights between the two were funny. I loved whenever Peter would just beat the shit out of him. Oh, that cop. What was his? I can't remember who played the cop, but just Lizard is frozen in nitroglycerin, I guess, and the cop just keeps shooting him, and he blows off his hand, and he can't regenerate it. And I just Jesus Christ.
Number 6 on my list is Judge Dredd and Dredd. Sylvester Stallone. Why? Because they're weird. There's no reason they should be as popular as they are, but they're awesome. And when he put on the outfit and became Judge Dredd, he just became this ridiculous creation, and I loved it.
The crotch thing.
Yeah, you freaking armored codpiece. Write it down. It's important. It's the future. And then the new one that came out, Dredd, kind of really strips away the silly from Judge Dredd. It puts it in a much more serious, dark, and gritty light, which I like. But I also kind of miss the days of old with there's a comic aspect about Judge Dredd along with the darkness that was really 80s of the movie. In this one, it's strict 2011,
2012.
Yeah. But straightforward, straight ahead, grit, dark, insane lead character as far as the villain goes. One of the ways that Mama, the evil guy, kills somebody is she gives him slow-mo and then pushes him off a balcony, and he falls 50 stories to his death. Except he's in slow mo, so he's
terrifying.
Your 20-second fall now became a 2-hour fall, and you're just seeing that ground come at you, and there's nothing you can do. And he's having a heart attack, but he can't die because he's in slow mo. I can't imagine a worse hell, but that's such an interesting concept to do. It's so sadistic, and I love it.
My number 6, X-Men First Class. The acting is some of the best I've ever seen in a comic book movie. James McAvoy was more than made up for Wanted. What's his name? I like that guy. Who's David in Prometheus.
What are you playing this one?
He played Magneto.
Oh.
Like I said, the action was very good. I liked the characters. Some of them were kind of boring, but for the most part, I at least liked them.
Yeah.
And I like movies that sort of set themselves in historical parts of
Historical parts of history?
Yes, historical parts of history. They were
5 for me would be the current Iron Man series. I remember something about it. I remember before I saw Iron Man, I had this really negative connotation of Robert Downey Jr. And then after I saw Iron Man, I was just like, I don't understand what you guys are talking about. He's awesome. But it's one of those movies where he's just like, you don't know if he's being himself or playing Iron Man. And honestly, he's doing a lot of both. The series of it is, I really like it because in Iron Man 1, he sets up the whole intro in the cave is, you know, probably one of my favorite like comic book scene
it
arcs.
is interesting
Because it's just
it's a little dark.
It's dark and it's cruel and it's fascinating. Then in the second one, he's developing as Iron Man. Iron Man 3 was actually, you know, pretty solid motion picture. The elements it had were really good. I really didn't agree with what they did with the Mandarin. The Mandarin's supposed to be like a guy who found the 10 rings of power and control like space and time with his hands. Like
Batman number 5, Iron Man 3.
there you go. So we talked.
That
about
was my
Iron Man.
favorite.
We talked about
Everyone
that.
else's is the first. And I like the first one. I rewatched it. I think it's pretty good. But the third one, that one just worked. I was always on the edge of my seat. I was always wondering what the hell was going to happen. Pepper Potts, finally, she did something.
Yeah.
Like in the first one, she basically helped the villain by accident. The second one, she was stupid enough to go near a beeping red light. Mm-hmm. The Avengers, she didn't appear except for a few scenes.
Yeah.
In this one, she actually becomes kind of badass. And I'm like, finally, because I
then
know she has potential.
But then she gets cured, and then she doesn't get to do anything anymore.
I didn't mind the twist. I liked the villains. I loved the relationship between Tony and the kid. Kid was like miniature Tony Stark and it was hilarious.
Yeah, that was fun. I like
It
that.
was a perfect mix of action, comedy, drama.
Number 4 for me would be Sin City. I'm so into gritty, dark comic book movies because that's how comic books are. You open it and the pages are gritty. You know, the ink is on there, and you look at it, and you're just like, this is gritty. This is real action. Like this is dark. It's shot in all black and white except for colors that that are highlighting things like the yellow bad guy or blood. Blood's always red. There's just wonderful elements to the story. It's so dark and real. Good things do happen in the movie. Like the characters eventually do triumph, but always with some kind of negative consequence. In the beginning, Marv, kills the person who killed Goldie, but gets the electric chair. Spoilers, by the way. But it's, like I said, it was very Tarantino-esque. They set it up in the beginning, and you're just like, okay, that was random because there's no mention of it until the end. And it was just, it's so dark and gritty and tragic. And again, I'm a fan of tragedy.
My number 4 will also like your Iron Man, just putting all those together. I'm just going to put the entire Dark Knight trilogy together. They are basically telling a single story. Like, Batman gets set up. It is like 3-act structure. Set up. Hero gets into something. Is contrived as I think it might be. And then the third one, he's the resolution. He gets out of it. Everyone's happy. Yay.
Yay.
The villains definitely got better with Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Joker, of course, is great. Two-Face was a bit rushed, and I wish they had let him just live and then do something else with him later, but he was kind of tragic. That was kind of depressing.
Yeah.
Bane is very intimidating. Like, that's the thing he has over the Joker. Like, the Joker may be more cunning, but let's face it, if you just had a gun and Batman actually shot people, that guy would have been fucking dead.
Number 3 on my list is something we've actually covered before. Number 3 on my list is actually Captain America, the First Avenger. I love Captain America. I'm assuming what Captain America has to do is he has to keep himself from being broken because he already is the perfect guy. He's a gentleman. He's a super soldier. He messes up sometimes, but that's human. But Captain America, just like in the next movie, like the Winter Soldier, he's like. It's like,
yes, that's another one I'm looking forward to.
I'm really looking forward to that, by the way. I love Chris Evans as Captain America. He's so wholesome in the correct way, but he's so charismatic. You're just like, I want to pinch his cheeks, but he can also stab me and shoot me, and it is, you are failing! Ah! I love angry German people. Whenever there's an angry German person in the film,
I heard yesterday.
It's normally a pretty good time.
What was it? Every German word either sounds angry or...
Sexual.
Yeah.
Yeah, and...
Number 3, one you might not know is based on a comic. The Adventures of Tintin, The Secret of the Unicorn. But I just love Spielberg when he has fun. Like, not to say he isn't great when he makes some dramatic stuff. Color Purple, Empire of the Sun, Schindler's List, Lincoln, all great films. But when he just has fun, makes the entertaining blockbuster, that's the one I love. Tintin, he's a bit bland, but he's sort of one of those blank slates where you can sort of put yourself into that. That was what he sort of meant to be.
Yeah, he's
that's what all comic book characters.
Projecting.
That's what all comic book characters were kind of like in the beginning. Like Superman used to be just perfect, so you could put yourself into him. It has one of the best action scenes I've seen of the decade so far with that chase in Monte Carlo.
Oh,
it's all in one take. Every time I watch that, my mouth is open. Like, I know this is animation, but how the fuck did you choreograph that?
Number 2 on mine is actually, it's pretty weird, but it's Kick-Ass 1 and 2. My thing is, I love cinematography, and I love watching movies, and I love, viewing the movies from a cinematographical standpoint, seeing, like, how things are set up, so how the characters did this, how did that, all the setup of the movie. Kick-Ass 1 and 2 were some of the few movies that I actually were able to just watch and not, look at the cinematography or the acting or the setup or anything. I was able to sit there and enjoy the movie. And that's a really rare thing for me. Just the entertainment value was astonishing. It was funny. It was it was tragic. It was real. Like in the beginning when Dave gets stabbed, that's like, and then hit by a car. I'm like, those were really. It was like funny, but it was also like it's not like stabbing in like a Kill Bill movie where they stab you and you go. It's a real stab. They stab you and you're like, ugh. It's so they mixed funny and real and just tragic. Again, I love tragedy. There's so much of that, especially in the second movie. There's tons of tragedy in the second movie.
2 is the Avengers. What can you say? What can you fucking say? It is, in terms of just fun comic book movies, like the Dark Knight trilogy may be like the pinnacle of the dark, gritty stuff that comic book movies like being. But the Avengers is the epitome of that fun action blockbuster comic book movies.
Yeah.
That I really do like. Not to say I don't like those types of movies that are gritty and dark. A lot of them are on my list. Like Amazing Spider-Man and the Dark Knight trilogy, and even Iron Man 3 kind of did that. But for me, the best thing a comic movie can do is be fun, and just getting all these characters with very different personalities, very different mannerisms, and putting them together, just even without the action, was incredibly entertaining.
Top comic book movie for me, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Here's the thing, Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors ever, and I've read the Scott Pilgrim comics. They do leave out like a good bit of information, but they condense like 7 books into one, so take your pick.
So it worked out better than.
But yeah, it worked better than
Last Airbender did.
Oh hell yeah! You watch the movie, or you read the comics, and then you do the other one, and you go, it's hard to imagine them as separate things. Like, it's just like Michael Cera, like, as awkward as he is, does a really good job of playing Scott. I mean, in the comics, Scott comes off as a bit more cocky, but in the movie, he comes off more as awkward, which is what Michael Cera does. And it's really good to see the duality of this character, because he's both. Like, Scott Pilgrim is both awkward and cocky. So it really makes sense that in one he would be portrayed more as cocky, which is the comics, which is the original portrayal of him. But in the movie, he's definitely the other side of his personality shows out more, and that's just it's like I said, it's really cool to see the duality of the character, because if you were to take like stills from the movie, he would probably seem pretty cocky.
Yeah.
So it's like, but when you put it in motion, he turns into this kind of like bumbling, awkward / cocky person. It's the work that Edgar Wright did, the direction that he took it was brilliant. I love it.
My number one, V for Vendetta, they make you want to sympathize with him a lot, even though he's doing kind of terrible things that go against what he's saying.
Yeah.
I don't mind that so much. I kind of can get behind that. It's like, sometimes, this is kind of what I said with Batman, sometimes you kind of have to kill in order to get stuff done. Sorry. Sometimes it just has to happen. I think Bin Laden should have been just shot. Some people say, oh, we should have brought him to justice. No, just fucking shoot him.